A warm welcome to Calgary on this Canada Day weekend. Could be some fireworks tonight as Mike Riley faces Bo Levi Mitchell. It's the BC Lions tackling the Calgary Stampeders.
There are a handful of quarterbacks off to a good start in the CFL, but tonight we have the marquee matchup at the position. Mike Riley and Bo Levi Mitchell have combined for 5 Grey Cup starts and have won 3 MOP awards in the last 5 years. Riley has the edge in all-time passing yards, but Bo Levi Mitchell has beat Riley head-to-head in the regular season in 7 of 11 starts. Usually the Battle of Alberta, but tonight it's just going to be a straight battle. Both quarterbacks looking for their first win.
Here's Dave Dickinson, a former BC Lion, trying to avoid the Stamps' first 0-2 start in 10 years. Stampeders have won 11 of their last 12 coming out of a bye, and Devon Claybrooks spent 10 years in Calgary, 3 as a player, the final 3 as defensive coordinator, now looking for his first head coaching victory in his old neighborhood. Lions won the toss. They have elected to receive. Chris Edwards back along with Brandon Rutley. Stampeders won 2 of 3 last year, but the Lions did win their last visit here at McMahon Stadium last October. It is Rutley, and he'll cross the 30 and crash down around the 33-yard line. It's the 99th career game start for Mike Riley in his career, 4-10 against Calgary.
And coming off a game against his former team, the Edmonton Eskimos, where he was pounded and sacked 7 times. So Mike Riley and this offense looking for a bounce-back game, a sense of urgency, even though we're just in week 3.
Trying to get the ground game established, and they got something early. Here's John White crashing up to the 45-yard line with a first down run.
Well, it's Canada Day weekend, so let's highlight the Canadians in the lineup here for both teams tonight. There's Lamar Durant, played his college ball at Simon Fraser University, former Calgary Stampeder, from Winnipeg, former from Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam in Vancouver, but former Bomber Suk Chung up front, the offensive line. They want to be more physical up there in front of Riley tonight.
Team that hasn't got much done on the ground rips off 13 on the first carry of the game. And they'll go back to the ground. Brandon Rutley in a twin tailback set, and Rutley this time stopped up short by Corey Greenwood.
Canadians on the Calgary defensive side. There's Derek Wigan from Queen's University. I got one in for you, CC. Corey Greenwood in the middle, played his college ball at Concordia, and then you go back to Royce Mitchie playing safety. He's out of Guelph University. So Canadians in the lineup on Canada Day weekend.
More for Rutley, 2nd and 6. And Riley to throw for the first time, and he'll get it complete to Ron Carter, has it, and then gets sliced down at the Calgary 43-yard line. Tackle made by Brandon Smith, but the Lions moving after that 17-yard connection.
Well, Calgary Stampeders coming off the bye, and in their first game of the regular season against Ottawa, the corner that Deron Carter just caught that ball on took a shot here, and I don't blame him because Trey Roberson had 3 in the opening game of the season here at McMahon Stadium against Ottawa. Took a shot at a 4th one on the season right there and just missed it.
13th catch for Carter on the year. So first down at the 42-yard line. Looks like they'll swing it out here to John White in the flat, and White, he breaks the first tackle and then gets bumped out of bounds by Deshaun Amos. Suits, they look for more balance. We've seen it already in this first series.
Yeah, more John White coming out of the backfield, either running the ball. We've seen a couple of running plays already in drive 1, but a little swing pass to him out in the flat as well. So a bit more variety in the play calling out of the gate.
2nd and short. Riley to follow the new center, J.S. Waugh, out of Laval, as that offensive line reconfigured.
That was a great response from Mike Riley yesterday when we had our meeting with him, and I talked to him about the physical abuse he took in that Edmonton game and just the pounding he took. And he just smiled. I said, did you ever think that maybe you were going to be taken out of the game? He said, no, it was a 2-possession game in the CFL. As you know, you can score quickly and in under 3 minutes even. He said, I was staying in, and by the way, that physicality part of the game, that's the part of the game I love.
Scored on their opening drive in Edmonton. They have led after the first quarter in the first 2 weeks. Here's the counter to Rutley, dragged down by Greenwood at the 28. So another second and long after a 3-yard Rutley pickup.
The question is, will they be committed to this run? It's one thing to have it in the game plan and in drive 1, come out and start calling it with that variety in the lineup, but will they stick with it? Will they stick with it if they fall behind in this game? That's the question I think BC Lions fans have asked.
Derek Wigan and the Stamps defense trying to dig in. 2nd and 7, showing pressure off the edge, and the pass is intercepted, and it is Trey Roberson, and he is gone. Already his 4th interception in 5 quarters of football. He's going to get noticed if he keeps that up.
Well, the sophomore is off to a great start. Interception number 4, and this one goes to the house. Pressure off the edge causes Riley to have just a little bit of a timing issue on the throw, and a split second too long to get there, and 31 takes it, and he is gone.
They get a challenge here from Devon Claybrooks on the contact on the quarterback. So right now the touchdown celebration is on hold. There will be a challenge. A couple of roughing the passer calls last week via challenge, and this one is under review. Ivan McLennan with the helmet hit.
After review, we have roughing the passer. Calgary number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So the helmet contact from the former BC Lion, Ivan McLennan, wipes the pick 6 off the board.
Well, he drops his chin and does catch Mike Riley right in the helmet, right under his chin. He's got to lower his target zone and get Riley between the 1 and the 3, and that's the correct call. Devon Claybrooks immediately saw it, wanted to throw that challenge, got it out there, and the Lions dodge a big one early.
Did have to use the challenge, but we'll get another after successful on the first. 3 for 3, and all 3 for the same kind of call on hits against his quarterback. So instead of being down by a touchdown, the BC Lions have a first down in the red zone. Setting up shop at the Stampeder 14. More pressure, little sidearm to White, edge, touchdown. John White caps it the other way for the BC Lions.
Well, for Calgary, you got to believe that just is a kick right to the solar plexus to have a pick 6 go the other way, and then have the roughing the passer take it off the board, take the points off the board, and then try and regroup and get out there and defend this little swing pass to John White. But the BC Lions, good challenge by their head coach, Devon Claybrooks, won it, put the first points on the board.
Milestone touchdown throw for Mike Riley, the 150th of his career. 3rd on the year. The first 2 were connections to former Stampeder Lamar Durant. So they'll go for 2. And for the 2nd straight week, opening drive, touchdown for BC. Katoy, Burnham, Durant all to the right side, and it will be Katoy in for the 2 points. The former Langley Ram has his first Canadian Football League points.
Do for ones.
But the touchdown, a 14-yard connection to John White, who gets the corner and gives BC the lead. Welcome back to Calgary, where BC strikes first after a successful challenge that wiped out a touchdown going the other way against them. And the 2-point convert gives them an 8-0 lead. Terry Williams, who was nicked in the opener against Ottawa, back in here and back with William Longley, and it will be the Speedy Williams from his 8. Fake that refers to Longley and brings it out just shy of the 30-yard line. So Bo Levi Mitchell, who has never started a year 0-2, will try to keep that intact as he looks for his 70th career victory here this evening.
Great record at home, great record against the BC Lions, great record against Mike Riley. However, in the second half of that Ottawa game, just around 100 yards of offense. Typical we've seen from Calgary.
No points in their last 10 possessions. Ambles takes the hitch and he gets gang tackled and pushed back.
Now let's take a look at some of the Canadians in the starting lineup for the Calgary Stampeders offensively. There's Juwan Breskason, comes from Mississauga, Ontario. There is up front Shane Bergman from Waterford, Ontario, and played his college ball at Western. Seven-year Calgary veteran.
Yeah, he's a mainstay of that offensive line. One of the best run blockers in the league. 2nd and 5, early movement. And flags fly. Lions defensive line suggesting they were drawn.
Procedure, Calgary number 62. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Nyla Kazatati, the right tackle, flinched early.
He flinched because he saw Chris Edwards coming from the linebacking core on a straight blitz and had timed it out nicely, so may have saved a hit on his quarterback.
And we found out last week Chris Edwards isn't out there to shake hands. So 2nd and 10 after the 5-yard penalty. 4-man rush, pass complete, and Ambles close to the first down stick. Taken out by the corner, Gary Peters.
You know, he may have got there with the lean. He got his pad level down and got that shoulder lean into Gary Peters. Timing out by Bo Levi Mitchell to get it out there to him. Now watch him dip his shoulder and get that extra half yard. Might be enough.
3 for 49 in the opener for Ambles. Also had a 17-yard rushing play, which was the longest run from scrimmage for the Stampeders in their season opener 2 weeks ago against the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Calgary had come out over the ball here and they hadn't moved the down box and set the chains up properly just yet. They're still measuring. Now they got the first down so they can go back to regular offense. Arbuckle was just a little bit ahead of the curve there.
So Mitchell back in. Last game for them, they did run up an 18-6 lead after the first quarter. Biggest first quarter lead for Calgary since 2002. Here's Don Jackson, fired up to be better in this game, and brought down by Peters.
Well, we didn't have a Canadian starter up front on the BCD line, so we're going to give Odell Willis he is our Canadian up front, the new Canadian, I guess you could say. SFU's Jordan Herdman-Reed in the middle of that linebacking core. Born in Winnipeg, played his ball at SFU. I think I've out Queens you. SFU, you know, 2-1. Anthony Thompson in the back end, born in Montreal, is playing wide side corner.
Dozier, the newcomer at safety, center screen that Odell Willis snuffed out. That's why we gave him Canadian status. Hearing from the Calgary bench, they thought there was a hold, but no flags on the play, and the punt team will have to come on.
Year 11 and closing in on 100 sacks. I think we can give him Canadian status. Plus just a great guy to sit and talk football with.
That was fun again yesterday. Again, 98 career sacks. Rutley is back at the 25. And a guy from Brampton, Ontario will be punting for Calgary. That's Rob Maber. And Rutley across the 35 and wrapped up around the 39-yard line. So the Lions have the football. Mike Riley has the lead here early at McMahon. Well, it was a beatdown last week at Commonwealth Stadium, particularly for the quarterback. Mike Riley sacked 7 times, took that huge jolt as well. He didn't like the way that game unfolded, and after it was over, he challenged his teammates.
I know we're capable of it. It's not physical. It's up top, man. It's up top. Believing in your brother, believing that he's going to get his job done and you're going to get your job done, right? And playing for each other. So I don't know what motivates you. It doesn't really make a difference to me. But get motivated, man.
Told us that you can't do that a lot, but felt it was the right time early in this rebuild of the BC Lions.
Yeah, I love it. His teammates should respond to that in a big, big way. Already off to a good start here tonight.
5 first downs on that touchdown drive, and they'll start the second possession on the ground. White spun off first contact, but contained just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Riley told us yesterday that you never want a physical beatdown on your resume. And he said, quite honestly, across the board, offense, defense, and teams, it was a physical beatdown against the Edmonton Eskimos. He was sacked 7 times. That's most, tied with most 3 games in his career, but he was hit so many more times than just the 7 sacks.
Interesting that the other 2 times were against the Calgary Stampeders, who did not register a sack in the first game. Second and long, and over the middle, he's got Brian Burnham into Calgary territory, and BC is 4 for 4 on second down conversions early.
Dig route, and it's about the time in between the linebackers here. Burnham's going to try and find the hole as the linebackers drop out of here. You see them drop, and Burnham's got to find right in between them. There goes the 3 linebackers. Where's the hole? Ball should arrive on time.
18-yard hookup. Burnham just 1 catch last week, and with that grab, 68 straight games for the reception. And the flag, it is Catoy with his 2nd catch of the game. Just 1 in the first 2 weeks. He was not targeted last week against Edmonton.
Big target, though. 6'5", 230.
One of the stories of training camp, wasn't it?
It really was.
And it's going to take a while for him to make the transition from junior football, but boy, they think they've got something. The sneak by Riley, who should have another first down.
But again, proof that even if you're playing junior football and you think in the back of your mind that maybe you won't get a chance to play pro and make a living playing the game, well, don't think that way. It's possible. Catoy showing that he can make the transition. Big target, big physical receiver, a guy that if he can figure it out, and he will, can be an all-star in the league. And think of Andrew Harris. He's the other one that comes to mind. Played junior football in Canada, made the transition.
Mike Riley 6 for 6 out of the gate here. As a first down at the Stamp 41-yard line. And it's White. Not much there. Brought down by Derek Wigan. I think both team suits were focused on the line of scrimmage of being better than they were in their previous game.
A couple of injuries for the Calgary Stampeders defensively up front. Essamarabare's out. They got Jabbar Westerman, but probably a week away or so.
And Junior Turner,
yeah.
Injured with knee injury, knee surgery last week. So he'll be out an extended period of time. 2nd and 11. Pressure coming. Riley shrugs it off. Open deep. Jump ball for Burnham, and incomplete. A flag is tossed. Ball hung up a little bit. Brian Burnham draws the pass interference call. And it's going against Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith was the deep defender trying to help.
Pass interference. Calgary number 16. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed on the 1 yard line. Automatic, first down.
Well, it will be the safety, Menchie, who was also over there in the coverage.
Well, first it's Riley fighting off Corey Greenwood, but boy, Brian Burnham does such a great job here of selling that, because that ball is behind him over his head, and he goes up in front of that football to sell that he had a crack at it.
Ivan McLennan injured and getting helped off the field, so it is another injury on the defensive line for Calgary as they have to dig in on the goal line.
You're just joining us, a penalty by McLennan in the first series. Took a Trey Roberson interception for a touchdown off the board. BC converted after the penalty. That's why they have the 8-point lead, and now another penalty put him on the 1 yard line. Dickinson, I looked like he was contemplating taking another look at that PI call, but does not throw the challenge flag.
Chris Casher checks in. First and goal at the 1. It'll be John White. Touchdown, BC. Third touchdown run of the year for John White, in behind what's been a better offensive line for the BC Lions here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, better, because they've got to lean on that front hand and do some run blocking here tonight, something they haven't done a lot of in the first 2 games of the season. So one thing, offensive linemen love to go after people and attack rather than get in pass block mode.
So a 2-point conversion on their first touchdown, which made them 3 for 3 on the season. Now they'll try and kick the convert with Sergio Castillo, looking to make it a 15-point lead out of the hold of Danny O'Brien. Up and good, and the Lions are roaring early here, trying to win Devon Claybrooks his first as a head coach. This one's set up by a pass interference call, and
if you're just looking at the score and the stats, you're seeing 2 drives by Mike Riley, 2 touchdowns, but both penalty aided. That first one, Ivan McLennan, with a roughing the passer, took an interception for a touchdown off the board, and it was converted by Riley after the penalty. Now that PI puts it on the 1 yard line. And again, the BC Lions take advantage of 2 penalties, 2 key penalties in this first 2 drives of the game for the Lions to convert.
Castillo kicks it. Terry Williams will return it. And he's up beyond the 30, stacked up there, as the Lions look for their first win for their new head coach. With more, here's Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, CC. After spending 10 years in the Stampeders organization as a player and a coach, Devon Claybrooks admits that Calgary has a very special place in his heart. But at the same time, he doesn't have time to reminisce about the past, especially since he is looking for his first win as a head coach. Claybrooks told me he is very grateful for the mentorship of Dave Dickinson and John Huffnagel. What he took from them: be efficient, be detailed, be organized, leave no stone unturned. Now, perfection probably will never really be attained, but as a coaching staff and a team, if you strive for perfection, then excellence will be attained.
Not the start he envisioned, but wasn't reaching for any panic buttons after opening losses against Winnipeg and Edmonton.
No, said it would be a process. You know, he said he's got a lot of new faces. They're trying to create their identity, and again, physicality, something that they all talked about, and communication. That was a word that came up yesterday in meetings with the BC Lions. Communication on their O-line and communication on their back end.
9 on that reception by Ambles, and now a sneak for the first down, as I think everybody figured he was the next guy to get a head coaching job with a terrific resume, including the top-ranked defense and Grey Cup champions last year.
Had a couple of options and ended up with the BC Lions. And that's what happens when you are a team like the Calgary Stampeders, as good as they've been since the return of John Hufnagel in 08. You're going to lose assistant coaches every year when you're in the championship.
And off to Jackson, not much of a surge there, and short yardage on first down.
And free agents. You know, and that's just part of it. That's part of being a great football team and a great organization. Calgary, with all their Grey Cup appearances, are going to start to lose some of their talent. Dave Dickinson understands that, and he's trying to rebuild his team.
Passing situation here. 2nd and 9. From the Stamp 45. Another strike thrown by Mitchell, stepping out Eric Rogers. And Bo 5 for 5. Neither quarterback has an incompletion so far. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised in this showcase of the 2 highest paid quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, a zone drop for Aaron Grimes, so he bails out there. He's got deep responsibility, and Amble's going to keep Gary Peters away from that out route to Eric Rogers.
2 of the 4 catches by Rogers last week, 2nd down conversion catches, and that one as well. Here's Jackson. Again, Jackson finding openings very difficult to detect. Davon Coleman was in the hole that time, and Jackson and him will job after the play.
I think Matt Bozen got in there as well. He came underneath and tripped Don Jackson up from the backside, and then he got Lewis in the front.
That's Thor, Matt Bozen.
Yes. His college days.
Another long 2nd down play, and Mitchell looking for Briskeson. High points it, drops it, and Aaron Grimes are going to rule incomplete. But looked like Briskeson had secured the football, but it was knocked loose on the final play of this opening quarter.
Yeah, well, the ball was thrown where it had to be. He had it in both hands on his way to secure it and bring it down. It was Chris Edwards. Or no, it wasn't coming off the back end. It was Brandon Dozier, the safety.
So Dozier makes his first big defensive play with his new team. We're through 15 minutes of football on the Canada Day weekend at McMahon Stadium. Huge opening quarter for the Lions as they lead by 15. Three penalties in the quarter, 2 really made an impact.
Oh, the difference in the score. I mean, 2 penalties, one by McLennan was, I thought, the right call. It was the correct call in roughing the passer. Took a Trey Roberson interception for a touchdown off the board, and BC takes advantage of that and scores. And then the PI was a questionable call. I thought that ball was out, but hey, full credit to Brian Burnham for drawing the penalty flag from 2 defenders.
3rd straight game now that the BC Lions have led after a quarter, and I can't remember the last time Calgary would trail by 15 at home after 15 minutes of football.
Well, you're right. You think of their home record, first of all, at 53-11 going back to 2012, and the fact that coming off a bye, they've lost 1 game in their last 12.
Maver trying to hit the corner, and Carter will let that bounce through. It's a single for the Stampeders as there was some pressure coming off the edge on Rob Maver.
Not what they wanted, Calgary perspective, but a good decision by Deron Carter to let that go through. Looked like he was tempted to grab it. Maver was trying to get that out inside the 10.
So the Lions will scrimmage at their own 35-yard line. Mike Riley 6 for 6, 73 yards in the opening 15 minutes. Coming into week 3, strangely enough, the team that led after a quarter, 1-5.
And we've seen some big deficits get eaten up in the second half of games this year.
snap. Riley rolls. Burnham the catch. Royce Benji was there, but Burnham hangs on close to the Calgary or the BC 50-yard line. So a 15-yard pickup. Mentioned no lead is safe, and these two teams have been on the wrong side of that in their last games.
Up 11-0 the Lions against the Eskimos, and that went sideways on them quickly. And also Calgary knows what it feels like.
I'm going to say with a Stampeder down, one of the differences here though was the Lions moved the football well in the first half against Edmonton, but settled for field goals. They've punched it in twice here. Brandon Smith, the 12-year vet, is getting attention, and he'll have to come out for at least 3 plays. Ivan McLennan has already gone to the locker room. Yet another injury on the defensive line for Dave Dickinson and company. And so Brandon Smith makes his way slowly to the sidelines. And a newcomer, Robertson Daniel, in his spot.
Out of BYU, and they're going to put him out to the field side and move Deshaun Amos, I think, into the boundary to play beside Trey Roberson. You want the more experienced DB to be playing into that short side of the field. That's usually where Duron Carter and Brian Burnham line up as well, usually.
On the waggle, he'll counter back to White near side, and brought down around the 54-yard line. Greenwood in the middle of it, along with Winton McManus, and it's 4 for John White.
These run plays, and Jarius Jackson calling a much more mixed play calling in this game than in the first two. I mean, this is not just drop back in that 7-step drop mode every single time for the Lions. They're sticking with the run now, and this drive number 3.
9 rushes, 7 passes. The breakdown was 74 passes, 19 rushes in the first 2 games. So here's Burnham, and he got tracked down. Good pursuit by Deshaun Amos. And it's going to be 3rd down and a decision for Devon Claybrooks. Maybe even further than I thought. Looks like 3rd and 3.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he goes for it here. By the reaction of Brian Burnham coming off that play, it looked like he was just a little bit off in his depth on the route. And he's kind of tapping his own helmet, saying that was on me, not on Mike Riley. That he needs to know where that 1st down marker is and make his break right there.
So Castillo to punt for the first time for BC. Williams is deep. Pressure on. And Castillo got it away. Punt will finally get played in the second hop by Williams. There'll be the 5-yard no yards, but had he been able to field that before it hit the turf, it would have been a 15-yard penalty. There's Burnham. A little upset with himself. CFL on TSN keeps on rolling. Monday, a Canada Day showdown featuring a special live mic broadcast. Get inside the huddle with the Argonauts and the Rough Riders in the Saskatchewan home opener. Action begins 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific across the TSN network, and those high-profile panel guys will be on site at Mosaic. Down by 14. Calgary scrimmages at their own 18-yard line. They set up the screen. Here's Jackson out of the backfield, and sure tackle from Gary Peters up at the 20.
I think both these offensive coaches and Dave Dickinson calling the plays are both content to get their backs involved. They want to, in this game, get their backs involved and allow their O-line to give the defense different looks, get out there in front of that tailback and try and get a lead block. Right now, good tackling by the BC Lions in open field.
4 touches, 10 yards for Jackson early.
comes.
Second and long, pressure coming. Mitchell ducked underneath, but now he is dropped. Malik Harris, the former Stampeder, had the first shot at the quarterback.
Yep, Malik Harris was there, and from the top, Chris Edwards. It was an all-out blitz coming. Here's Edwards from this side, or excuse me, Malik Harris from that side, Edwards from the field. And here they come. I mean, not enough blockers there for Bo Levi Mitchell to get that one blocked up.
And it's Jordan Herdman Reed, the middle linebacker, who brings him down for the sack. So the three guys in the backfield, none of them had lined up or were defensive linemen. Ball bouncing at the midfield stripe, and Rutley slips in, is down at the 52, so great field position for the Lions thanks to this sack by Jordan Herdman Reed. Well, the best defensive performance of week one was turned in by Trey Roberson, the corner, the grandson of Larry Highbaugh. Larry's in the Hall of Fame, but he never had a 3-interception game. His grandson did against the Red Blacks in the opener.
Well, somehow he didn't get player of the week. We'll talk a little bit about that as this game goes on, but what a start.
Mike Riley from the Calgary side of half has another connection with Brian Burnham.
And so difficult to play on that short side, whether you're playing corner or halfback. And right now, Raheem Wilson, the wide side corner, has moved into the halfback spot. But Roberson trying to deal with, first of all, the best receivers. That's usually Burnham and Deron Carter lining up into that boundary.
Second in the yard, Riley plunges. He has the first down. He's 9 for 9 for 100 yards so far in the game.
I poke a little fun at Dwayne Ford, our colleague, and Matt Dunnigan back in the studio that pick
offensive guys.
Two of the guys that picked offensive guys in week one. A three interception game is like a 600-yard passing game for a quarterback, or a 200-yard receiving game for a receiver. It just does not happen very often. And Roberson, they had 4 on the night. He had 3.
2 knockdowns as well. But Dunnigan's never liked anybody that intercepts the football. So
that's true. It's true.
Big Dwight. Carter not going anywhere. Big defensive play. There's the young safety, Royce Mechie.
Mechie closes quickly on this one because he lines up back at that safety spot, so he's way off the ball, but tremendous read and just play the play. When you see the play and you've seen it on film, go ahead and believe what you see. Dave Dickinson mentioned that in his pregame speech. Believe what you see it, and go get it done.
Lions have converted 7 of 8 on second down. Second and long here, a pump from Riley, and he is dropped. Whit McManus gets home for the Stampeders and may have taken the Lions out of field goal range.
Well, he wanted the double move, and when Lamar Durant was covered by Trey Roberson at that short side corner position, there's Trey. Now he's going to get double moved by Lamar Durant here. The little pump fake. As he gets it, he jumps that corner, and Durant just gets blanketed down at the bottom of your screen. Mike Riley wants to pump him. He's not there, and pressure gets to him.
9th time Riley's been sacked this season. First time in this game. The sacks even at 1 apiece. Castillo to punt. They got close, and he's taken down, and that's going to be a penalty to keep BC on the field.
Well, there's no question there's contact, and
Ante Milanovic-Leiter was
another
there, and a couple of Stampeders were there.
Another bad decision by Calgary here, because this is going to give the BC Lions.
Roughing the kicker, Calgary number 34. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
A new set of downs, automatic first down because it's roughing the kicker. Now the new rule, or the rule change this year, is that the kicking leg does not have to be in the air for this to be roughing the kicker. Now in this case it was anyway, but the kicker is allowed to kick it and then come back safely to his spot, whether his legs in the air or down on the ground, both feet. You cannot contact him at all. Even if you touch the ball, you can't contact him. And that also is a change, and that was clearly roughing the kicker.
Nate Hawley was in there too, and the convergence of Hawley and Leader combined to create the contact that keeps BC on the field offensively. Hits to Carter, got a block, but fighting off that block and making a solid play once again is that corner that everybody better take notice of.
Yeah, you know, it's the degree of difficulty here is tremendous, and I mentioned the best talent that you're facing, but also the unlimited motion in Canadian football. I mean, those receivers can be coming towards the line of scrimmage, full speed, and as a DB, you've got your feet planted, and then you've got to push off and start to backpedal and not let him just flat out run by you. That's very difficult at the best of times.
The last 5 years, only 3 men with 3 interception games. Both the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Macho Harris in 2015 and Ed Geedy 2017.
Well, think of it this way, Chris, like if you and I lined up 10 yards apart, 15 yards apart, you just stand facing the same way I am, and I start running.
Time count. BC number 13. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I start running 15 yards before you can even move. And then as we get even, then you start running and see if you can keep with me. Now, I know you have great speed, so that's possible, but that's the degree of difficulty that DBs face. And in the short side, the ball gets there very quickly.
Time count makes it 2nd and 13. Pressure coming. Riley able to dump it off. Here's White. And he broke a tackle or two and gets the first down around the 21-yard line. $14 for John White.
And that's nice play to the backfield by White, but let me show you what I mean. This is right here is Brian Burnham, and he's going to get that downhill waggle. And this is where defensive backs now have to try and gauge this and not let him just run right by him. 16's going to look, he's got a running start, and that's why you got to give him some room, but still make plays.
Quarterbacks have combined to go 18 of 19 so far. Fake to White. Lamar Durant to catch, and he'll crawl into the end zone against his old team. Lamar Durant has his 3rd touchdown of 2019.
Mike Riley had to hang in there this time. He knew the pressure was getting there, it was getting close, but he had to hang in there. It was a deep out route by Durant. Durant needed some time to execute this. The play action gave him a split second, but he felt that one coming right down the middle. Pays the price and gets it out there. That was Mike Rose.
Stands in, fires, and there's Durant crawling in. Free agent signing, the former Stampeder, off to a tremendous start. And Mike Riley, general manager, and Hervey all think that Durant can have a monster year, been a monster first half for the Lions. Castillo off the upright, dead ball, and it will stay 21-1. Our flag's flying though. Find out what they're all about. There's the touchdown pass. It's 22-yard connection. Riley to Durant, and pay dirt for BC. Well, Castillo had one blocked, and this is a miss as he hits it right off the upright. And after all that, you see a bit of a scrum, and Wynton McManus draws a roughing penalty for the takedown on Matt Boson, so they'll spot the ball on the Lion 50 for this kickoff.
Frustration's bubbling up now for Calgary because another penalty, 3 crucial penalties turned into 21 points for the BC Lions in this first half.
3 penalties and 3 touchdowns.
That's not championship football.
Castillo keeps this in play. McManus in the end zone, and he's going to take a knee, so there's the convert. The penalty gives BC a chance to kick that point, and it's 22-1.
Well, all those points for BC, 22 points off penalties. Roughing the passer, a PI, a roughing the kicker, all turned into majors.
So past 9 minutes of the second quarter, Mitchell throwing, Lucas, the rookie, former Calgary Dino with the catch up near midfield. One catch in week one, this one going for 18 yards, and good field position now for the Stampeders.
Bo Levi Mitchell's trying to now change the tempo of the game, calling the plays up on the line of scrimmage, getting things rolling.
54 yards of passing for Mitchell in this first half. Gonna look for a chunk here for Rogers. Almost intercepted. Step for step was Aaron Grimes.
Yeah, Aaron Grimes ran the route for him. He's just out in front of him. Better chance at the football than Eric Rogers. Rogers almost becomes DB here. You'll see Aaron Grimes just get right out in front of him, almost like he's slowing him down by his positioning. So he had a better shot at it than number 4.
All CFL in 2015. Second and 10, good protection. Pass caught. And Richie Bingleton. Yards after the catch and a big Calgary first down. Bingleton's first grab of the day.
Bingleton lines up in the slot, 2 receiver. He's going to run that out. Timing from Bo Levi Mitchell is there. He gets it out to him as the Lions are dropping off in his zone, but with this much time left, still lots of time. You don't want to be too soft defensively.
Correction, Bingleton did have a catch for -3 on a hitch earlier. First for positive yards, and now Terry Williams, the ball carrier. Don Jackson's going to check back in.
Real important drive for Calgary to finish with a major and give them some momentum going in at halftime. And I'm guaranteeing that discipline is going to be a discussion at halftime.
Boy, this is a team for more than a decade just doesn't beat itself, do they? Bingleton slips away there, then gets drilled at the end of the play. Big hit by Edwards, but enough for another first down.
Yeah, the first move he needed to get to that first down marker. When he catches the ball, he's short. That first one got him there, and then Grimes said enough of that.
And Dozier had the first shot at him. Edwards and Grimes finish him off, but Stamps are marching here, trying to get back in it. Low snap, dug it out, and dropped Ambles. With a rare drop.
Took a peek. Happens at the pro level too. Watch his head. His ball's about to arrive. He takes a peek and comes back. Actually hit him right in the face mask because it went through his hands. Let that one go.
Second and 10. 5 receivers out. Pass caught. Ambles makes amends and has another Stampeder first down.
That was a read route. Mitchell reading what Ambles was going to run. He just had pressure and hit him on the sideline.
4th first down of the drive. Calgary marching at the 3-minute warning here at McMahon.
Back in the studio getting set for halftime. We're going to talk about the 3 big penalties that have made such a difference in this game and the biggest difference for BC's offense that's helping Mike Riley. And a look ahead to Monday at Mosaic, Canada Day, Riders, Argos. Back to Chris and Glenn.
Thanks, Rod. Calgary's got something going. 3 first downs on their first 3 possessions. 4 on this drive. Play fake and Mitchell underneath. almost intercepted.
Boy. Wow,
That ball
interesting.
thrown into traffic.
Interesting decision by Bo Levi Mitchell there. I mean, there were BC Lions all over his intended target. He wanted to go boot and fool the BC defense. Little play action bootleg, but look at the traffic around Beagleton.
Like Matt Boson, the defensive end, with the knockdown, and Malik Harris, the former Stampeder, nearly got it on the tip. Boson, the rookie defensive end out of TCU. 2nd and 10. Mitchell steps up, clears it underneath, and Jackson's going to get driven back.
I'm not sure Don Jackson, I think that surprised him. Are they going to go for it down here?
3rd down. Offense staying out there.
I like the call. I like the call by Dickinson. Leave him out there. Need the major here.
Looking for it here. Goal line. Caught. Touchdown. Big play, Eric Rogers.
It's a gutsy call because you want to make sure you come away with points when you're down 22-1. But I like the aggression. I like the fact that he's saying, hey, it's a big drive just before the half. Need to grab some momentum. Go for it on 3rd and goal. It's a 2-point convert distance away, basically, so they've got special plays set up for it. Gutsy call, but I like it. Go get right back in this game.
First touchdown of the year for Rogers. 2nd touchdown pass for Bo Levi Mitchell. Going for 2. Trying to make it a 13-point BC lead. Fake to Jackson. Here comes pressure underneath. Ambles. Does he get there? Well, let's see if they rule him in. They do. Ambles breaks the plane. Lions trying to argue it, and any scoring play will be reviewed. So let's wait and find out if it stands video review.
We'll see if he gets there on his own because he's got the ball. Does he cross the plane on his own? It looked like a teammate grabs him and pulls him across. Clearly the ball right there is across the goal line at the end of the play.
Cambray Williams, I'm not sure if this would fit the description of a tandem block, but he literally pulls him in.
Now, Cambray Williams is saying, I was falling backwards and he just happened to be. That's what he's trying to sell.
Little help from his friends gets him in. And it is 22-9.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
They're taking a look at it.
They're still taking a look. So
yeah, every score is reviewed automatically. Devon Claybrooks does not have to use a challenge there.
I thought they'd green lighted the play, but it is still being looked at.
Odell Willis cut off the first thought on that play to get Ambles outside and kind of made it up from there.
And
I think they're seeing if he was down. I think they're seeing if he was down by contact with the knee before the ball crossed. And I don't think it is. I think the ball has crossed before the knee touches.
Not expecting and the fucking.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The 2-point convert is good.
Give the big man at center.
There you go. You got a
check
helper
mark for that.
That's called a helper in football. That's different than hockey, but
It's kind of like an apple.
He's not happy. And that, Dave doesn't, and sometimes during calls and officials' calls and things, you'll see emotion, but he's got a speech ready at halftime, and it's going to be about discipline.
bounce into the end zone. Better cover it. Better cover it. Because leader was downfield in a hurry.
Yeah, it's live.
You can't just let it bounce in there. And it's 22-10.
Well, the defending champions desperately needed a big drive, and they got it. Bo Levi Mitchell went to work. He got Begelton involved. Ambles on a key second down conversion. And then on third down and about 3, he goes ahead and gets it inside. They gamble to get it, and there's a 2-point convert. It's under review and stands.
11 plays, 75 yards. 5 first downs on the drive. And if you're the Stampeders now, you're thinking, we get a 2 and out. You close the gap to make it a 1-score game.
And have the wind at their back right now. So a longer field goal is possible. That's exactly what they're thinking.
Of course, number 13 is 13 of 13 in this first half. John White on the ground, up around the 38. Dragged down by Wigan.
Yeah, meanwhile, right now, you're Mike Riley, you're thinking, we've got 2 minutes to go score and take some of that momentum away. So key second down here, second and about 7. Brent Monson is taken over as defensive coordinator for Devon Claybrooks, now the head coach in BC. Said to me yesterday that he likes to call it sort of with a gut feeling. Let's see what his gut says here. Does he send pressure?
Second and 7, here comes Benji. Riley got it away. Big collision, but John White hangs on in the impact from Robertson Daniel. That's a huge first down for BC. Fourth catch for White. Riley sideline pass. Robertson in the area covering Deron Carter, the intended target.
If Mike Riley throws that ball to Deron Carter on target, that's going the other way. Robertson jumped the route and was there to take it if that ball was actively thrown. I think Riley threw it away because he felt Robertson's presence.
First incompletion of the game for Mike Riley. 148 yards in this first half so far. Brandon Rutley has checked in, so they've got 2 running backs. White releases. Riley will go to Rutley. Got a block, and Rutley's got a first down as he's dropped in Stampeder territory at the Calgary 48-yard line.
This is about self-scouting for the BC Lions. This is about looking at what they have done and maybe more importantly what they didn't do in the first 2 games and saying, what were we missing? We were missing the balance. We were missing the run game, the screen game. Get the tailbacks involved.
Big Suk Chung was out there leading that, blocking on that play. There's Lamar Durant with another catch, brought down by Daniel. Good looking response drive for BC.
Absolutely, and one more first down or 8 to 10 yards more, and they're in real makeable field goal range at the very least. Take a little bit of the sting away from that last Calgary major.
Big to White, guns it, and Carter beat the catch and gets yards after the catch. Nice concentration from Deron Carter.
Robertson is in his back pocket here too. Look at this, cuts underneath. I think he stumbled a little bit, or else he may have had another crack at that one. Aggressively playing Deron Carter on the short side, and Carter gets it, comes up with it.
Now they're going to mark it back at ruling that Carter was down by contact on the initial knee. I wasn't sure if he had secured the football when he dropped. Does he have it there or not? Or is it just that foot on foot? Marked it back at the 27-yard line. Time for Riley, double pump. John White's got it. And McManus with the tackle. Close to another first down. Looks like he'll be a yard short.
Now Riley's not thinking about field goal, take away the sting of the major. He's saying, we're now in the red zone. It's inside the 20. Red zone offense.
5 catches, 56 yards for White. Riley plunges for the first down. So John White in the first half now at 11 touches and 79 yards. So a big part of the balance they were
absolutely
looking for.
Oh, completely different. I mean, different team offensively than week 1 and 2. And a rotation with Rutley and White both getting a chance to touch the ball.
Just over a half minute remaining. And open again. It's Carter trying to get to the sidelines and take it out around the 8. 23 on the clock. Going to be second and short once again.
Carter with a couple of catches now, saying he's not scared of Trey Roberson and what he did in week 1, lowering his shoulder. It looked like he was about ready to trash talk and wasn't out of bounds yet. He got hit from McManus behind him.
Another plunge for a first down. Driven back, and
you know Duron Carter will do this, Chris, but he lowered his shoulder and he's going to just give him the stink eye. That's the stink eye back to you. Okay, it's game on now. Duron Carter now with 6 targets, 5 catches. Roberson had the pick 6 taken off the board, has got a couple of knockdowns in the game, and has been in the hip pocket on a couple of the Duron Carter catches. So it's been a fun matchup to watch tonight.
Is a BC first down. So they've got time for a couple of cracks at it from the 6-yard line.
Timeout.
But
BC.
This is an important drive for the Lions. I mean, this is a big drive. Calgary comes back. They get some momentum. They get the crowd back into it. They get the 2-point convert, not only the major, but the 2-point to make it a 12-point game. And a huge response from Mike Riley.
11th play of the drive coming up.
Exactly what we expected from both quarterbacks. I mean, the penalties, no, that's been a bit of a surprise, but as far as quarterback play goes, Riley's 19 of 20, just 1 miss. Bo Levi Mitchell, 13 of 17. Marquee matchup.
They tell me both are pretty good.
Yep.
First and goal. 6 receivers out. Rutley can't bring it down.
Boy, it looked like to me they were going to the one-on-one on the short side of the field because they had left Carter all by himself on Roberson. And Riley looks down the middle first. He knew the pocket, his time in there was running out, so he had to get rid of it. That was a bit of a dangerous throw. Single down in the bottom again.
Burnham on the waggle. Fake to Rutley. They'll give it to Catoy. And he got stacked up at the 1. Javon Catoy looking for his first CFL touchdown, gets stopped, and now 3rd and 1. Do you kick 3 or do you punch it in?
Brandon Rutley tried to talk to Devon Claybrooks. He's going to go. He's going to go, especially with Riley.
Final play of the half. Riley. I don't know. No signal.
I don't know.
Didn't get there. Last night it was Montreal with a goal line stand to end the first half, and the Stampeders have just done it as well.
Well, if I like the Dickinson call, I have to like that one too. Just be aggressive and go get it, but good surge up front from Calgary. And when Riley turns, he can't reach.
The previous play is a potential scoring play. The previous play is a scoring play, potential scoring play, so it's being reviewed.
Automatic review on potential scoring plays this year as well as scoring plays, so it's going to be looked at. I don't know if there's any view that I've seen so far that shows anything different than the call on the field. But once he's turned like that, now he can't move the ball to cross the plane.
Both coaches talked about winning the battle on the line of scrimmage, and Calgary wins it here. And Mike Riley, I don't know if his helmet made it, but certainly the ball did not break the plane. And so a terrific late drive by the BC Lions falls short. And it will be a 12-point BC lead.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. The runner was short of the goal line.
Good first half of play. Again, Mike Riley engineering 3 touchdown drives. Penalty aided all of them. And they lead by 12 as we send it to Rod Smith.
Thank you, CC. Back with Henry and Maddie and Milton. Boy, I wonder what that goal line stand. I wonder how big that's going to loom in this game with Calgary trailing by 12 points. And in the game of what ifs, and I know you don't like this, but what if about those 3 penalties that have really changed the tide of this game?
And I know when the Calgary Stampeders go into the locker room, Dave Dickinson's first words are going to be like, guys, we're playing some undisciplined football. And they're not good enough to overcome these penalties. In previous years, their defense was so good, they could overcome these penalties. But right here, you have McClendon, and I don't think he did this on purpose, but he has to understand the new rules. Not only does that put points on the board for the BC Lions, but it took points off for the Calgary Stampeders because they got a touchdown on it. Then right there, undisciplined play. Right here, roughing the kicker. You can't allow that to happen, Henry. They have to come out this second half and be more disciplined.
Milt, you're 100% correct because coaches always talk about 2 things: no turnovers and no penalties. And penalties in that case are almost like turnovers because they extend the drive and they keep the opposition on the field. I can tell you, like you mentioned, Milt, it was already going to be tough enough for them to beat BC today, but for them to basically toss Christmas gifts at the BC Lions and the guys returning the old Stampeders, it's like, welcome back, guys. We're trying to give you this game.
No question.
What about Mike Riley, the story going in? We wondered, this isn't just on the Lions' O-line. I mean, other forms of protection, but also their scheme offensively. And what's working now that certainly wasn't working last week?
Well, I mean, we talked about the 3 changes up front and how they had to have balance, and it helps any quarterback. And obviously, they've been able to do that to some. And watch this. And the offensive line's just zone protect or zone blocking here. And watch their best receiver, Brian Burnham. He goes down, gets the edge, and John White off to the races early in the ball game. I love that scheme and well executed here. Watch zone coverage in the back end. Another way, just get him some touches. He already got 5. You heard CC talk about at the end of the half. He's got 5 for 56 through the air. And then he said sprinkling to Rutley. Hey, these big boys have been hungry for 2 weeks. Let them eat. Let them go downhill. You got 340 pounds. They're not designed to go backwards. They're designed to go downhill and chew on people. And here you see them adding in late and a nice different way of making it happen with the big boys up front. Give them more tools in the toolbox, and they're going to be successful. And that's all it is simple balance. You know how important that is, Henry, and just not dropping back, being at the same point 24/7, and anybody can get to you after a point of time, and any defensive end can beat a good offensive lineman in that scenario. You sit back there often enough.
Well, I can tell you one key thing we need to also keep an eye on in the second half is the fact that BC Lions, their defense, gave up 36 points per game. Look at where they are right now. They're keeping a great Calgary offense under 150 total yards in that first half and only 10 points.
I'm kicking the 3. I'm kicking the 3 at the end of the game, going up at 3 scores.
And they're getting John White involved. Not on the ground, but through the air. He's leading receiver with 56 yards. That's important.
And Mike Riley, 14 for 14 to start. That ties the CFL record. Old Ottawa Rough Rider Jordan Case back in 1980. Now, an incompletion since then, but still, Riley looking a lot more confident and a 12-point lead at the half. We'll be back to talk about Canada Day after this.
Tonight we have the marquee matchup at the position.
Trey Robertson, and he is gone.
After review, we have roughing the passer.
Touchdown. John White caps it the other way for the BC Lions. Margaret the catch, and he'll crawl into the end zone against his old team. Here in Calgary, before we put a bow on the first half, let's head down to the sidelines. Jermaine Franklin's with Dave Dickinson.
Well, Dave, not the start to the game that you were looking for. What was the message to your team at halftime?
Just keep fighting. I mean, yeah, we had a good play. We got the call against us. It was probably a legit call, so we just keep fighting. Right now, like you said, we're working on it. There's a lot of growth there, but we just got to take care of little things.
That was an important drive for the touchdown to near the end of the half. But in terms of discipline, was there a message in that with a few penalty-aided drives for the BC Lions?
Yeah, we talked about it, but you know, I'm tired of talking about it. Okay, do it, or else get out of the way. That's basically the message.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So probably a terse message.
Well, clearly it was tired of talking about it, and don't make bad decisions on the field that hurt your team. Meanwhile, Mike Riley had a little bit of an edge in his halftime interview too, saying, hey, if they're cheating and we're getting an extra first down because of it, we'll take it. Good execution by Riley. The offense looks much better than in week 1 and 2 for the BC Lions.
Calgary will have the football and the win to start the third quarter. 25 of the 32 points in the opening half scored with the win. Williams fields it at the 15. And Terry Williams swarmed at the 30-yard line. Bo Levi Mitchell, 13 of 17 for 106, most of it coming on that final offensive drive of the first half.
You know, take a look at time of possession too, because he did get a couple of drives going. That last drive to end the half that finished with the major and a 3rd and 3 on the 3-yard line gamble by Dave Dickinson paid off right there with that touchdown. Real important points before the half.
Will that be a difference in the game? Calgary converting a 3rd and 3 in deep, and BC being stopped 3rd and 1. Lucas can't hold on. That drop to start the second half.
A little bit behind him, but that's one that Klukas has to come up with. Puts him in 2nd and long, and like Riley said to us yesterday, tough to live in 2nd and long offensively. Tough to live in that world.
Well, let's see if they can live for another series here. 2nd and 10. Pocket collapsing, but an overthrown and interception, and it's Aaron Grimes who comes up with it. The intended target was Ambles, I believe. There is a flag down at the end of the play, but let's wait and sort this out.
Yeah, clearly the intended target was overthrown by Mitchell. It looked like he overstrided a little bit.
After the play, objectionable conduct, BC number 36, 10-yard penalty, first down.
After the interception, so the Lions will gain possession here. There's at the top of your screen, top right of your screen is the throw, and that's Grimes just coming back to the ball. He got a penalty after the fact. But the target was up front. It was overthrown. That was not intended for Eric Rogers.
So it's the first interception for BC on the year. Aaron Grimes comes up with it. That celebration led to the unsportsmanlike penalty.
Every time we send somebody thinks it's like. So what? Whoa.
I think you can spin the ball and just can't hit the defender during the celebration. So it cost them 10, but they get the ball at the 43-yard line. And hand it off. John White bit immediately. Mike Rose slams the door in his face.
Well, Mike Riley in the first half was 20 of 22. Those 2 incompletions late in the first half. 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. He doesn't care if they were penalty-aided drives or not. The execution was there. The only disappointment for Riley, I think, in that first half was the fact they didn't finish the bounce-back drive after Calgary had scored. That last drive was down to the 1-yard line. No points out of it.
Could have taken a real stranglehold on the game. 2nd and 11. John White with blocking in front and reaches the 49-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, and the punt team will come on. 6th catch of the game for White, who has been used more in that department than as a running back so far this evening. The wind swirling a bit to McMahon. Hard to get a real gauge on what kind of factor it will be here in the second half. Fielded at the 21, and Terry Williams with the return up across the 45. Dave Dickinson talked about him having a different speed than most, and he showed it there.
Please, there must be something you can do.
Good field position for Bo Levi Mitchell on this drive because of the return from Terry Williams. Gets some help in that return game by backup linebacker Nate Hawley. Hawley, number 40, does his job at the line of scrimmage to slow his man down, and then a nice block right at the point of attack. Boy, they really like Nate Hawley and what he's brought to this special teams. Make the club on the teams. Work your way into the starting lineup.
So after the first 2 and out by BC, it's Calgary at the ball, and there's Matt Boson tripping up Ambles on the jet sweep, and 71
brought the hammer down.
Yep,
he brought the hammer down. Thor brings the hammer down. His nickname back in college. He steps up at TCU and called Thor. You can tell he's got the same hair.
Loss of 8, 2nd and 18. They drop off. Mitchell gonna unload. Wants Briskeson. Incomplete. TJ Lee with the ball hanging up a little bit, able to recover and break up the play.
That's a couple of times now. One to Lucas, I believe, and this one where Bo Levi Mitchell has given his receiver a chance. He's put enough air under it to allow them to go up and win that jump ball. And both times his receiver have been in position with both hands there to make the big catch down the field. They haven't come up with it.
Briskeson had a big touchdown catch in week 1 and a similar play against BC in the preseason. Here's Brandon Rutley with a decent return up beyond the 30-yard line. So 19 for Rutley on that return. Mike Riley getting set to go back to work has been sharp so far this evening. 21 of 23 with a couple of touchdown throws. NHL free agent frenzy comes your way Monday. Join James Dudley, Bob McKenzie, Darren Drager, Pierre LeBrun, and the rest of the crew as they track up-to-the-minute news, rumors, and break the big transactions of the day. Notice Bob's already broken one today. Coverage gets underway 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on TSN. Phil Kessel now on Arizona Coyote. Here are the Lions. And overthrow intended for Burnham, incomplete. Corey Greenwood tracking him. It will be 2nd and 10 BC.
Roberson was showing short corner blitz, which is a blitz you don't see very often. He was sneaking in, trying to give Mike Riley the look like he was going to come. You have to have confidence to do that, and then he dropped out of there.
2 and out on their last series.
Against Deron Carter again down into the boundary here.
Been a good matchup. 2nd and 10. Pressure coming, and a pass knocked down. Burnham the intended target, and looked like there was a pull on his jersey. Riley slow to get up, but no flags. I think Burnham wants to get a challenge here, and it did look like he had the jersey tugged.
Well, it depends on was it tugged after the tip at the line of scrimmage, because if that ball's hit at the line as it's released, that was Cordero Law on the spin move. But if it's tipped there, then the timing is off and there is no PI.
No challenge, so another 2 and out. High punt, not deep. Fielded by Williams at the 39, and he stretches out around the 49. Let's update some injuries. Here's Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, CC. Yes, Juwan Briskeson just walked back to the room. It looked like he hit his head on that last play of a long bomb. Also, defensive lineman Ivan McLennan will not return. He's in street clothes, and neither will defensive back Brandon Smith. So the Stampeders continuing to see guys go to the IR right now.
Well, it's tough. The injuries on the defensive line in week 1. And now 2 on defense, 1 on offense here in the first half. Ambles a catch at midfield, and he has a pickup of 9, dropped at the BC 52.
Fundamentals, you remember Ambles dropped that one in the first half that was a very similar route right across the middle, ball thrown in the exact same spot. This time he concentrated, he stuck with it, he kept his eyes on the ball until it was secured. He got the big game.
2nd and 2, Jackson. And he'll have a first down just inside the 50. He's been told to stay patient. Don Jackson gets a little irritable. He's a feisty guy, and when the yards aren't getting chewed up, he can get a little anxious. Just his 4th carry for 11, 22 in game 1. So they'll screen it to him here, and well, defense by Gary Peters on the corner, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage.
And those go down as receptions, but that's just an extended running play in the Calgary offense to just flare Don Jackson out of the backfield like that and just a little swing pass, get him out into space. And it's very difficult. Again, that short side corner is in a bind. He's got to leave his man, come up and make an open field tackle. That time Gary Peters got the job done.
Second and 9. On the cusp of field goal range, Lions showing pressure. Hot route for Rogers, got the catch in front of safety Brandon Dozier. Clutch first down for the Stampeders.
Aaron Grimes was showing halfback, and he showed it just a little early, and it gave Bo Levi Mitchell a chance. As soon as the halfback goes on the blitz, the hot route is automatically to the slot. This time it's Eric Rogers. He realized it. You got to give him space if you're Brandon Dozier, the safety coming down, to cover off on Aaron Grimes' blitz, recognized by Bo Levi Mitchell and his receiver.
13 for Rogers. Mitchell to throw again. Wants Rogers again. Readjusted to the ball, but great coverage from TJ Lee, the all CFL DB last year.
Yeah, I thought he was arguably the best DB in the league last year. I mean, there were a few good ones, but TJ Lee had a monster season and second in the CFL after a couple of weeks in tackles. I mean, he's getting involved again this year. You can't cover Eric Rogers any better than that. Waited and was patient when the ball arrived, so at the top of the route, they were both trying to fight that look right into the sun.
Second half, Mitchell 3 for 7. Here comes Heat, another hot route, this one incomplete. Intended for Ambles, the drive stalls. Rennie Paredes will come on.
Seeing Brandon Dozier make some plays, and he was involved in that one again. He recognizes it, he's a veteran, been around the CFL, added to the lineup to help with the communication in Rich Stubler's defense back there at the back end, and Dozier jumped that little slant route.
All-time field goal percentage leader, 2 for 2 in the season opener. Surveying this from 43 out, and right down the middle. It's a 9-point BC lead. Stampeders chipping away here. As Paredes connects, the 43-yarder makes it 22-13 BC.
Thursday Night Football Concert Series is coming to McMahon Stadium on July 18th. At halftime, enjoy live music from the Northern Pikes. This is one Thursday night you won't want to miss. Get your tickets today at stampeders.com/tickets.
Stampeders trying to avoid back-to-back home losses to kick off 2019. Here's John White and a burst for a first down up beyond the 45-yard line.
Physical play off the right side. Suk Chunk leading the way on the right side of that offensive line, and right behind him is John White. Watch him just hit it. Chung gets out into that second level. Once you get onto the linebacker and Corey Greenwood, that's the guy who's supposed to scrape and try and make the tackle on the running back. He can't get there through Chung.
That's the initial first down of the second half for BC. Then they fake it and dish it off to White running hard after the catch and across midfield for back-to-back first downs, and now over 100 yards of combined offense for number 3 in this game at McMahon.
And back-to-back runs for White, different plays, but back-to-back times when he has the ball in his hands, and he's not messing around with a lot of moves at the line of scrimmage. He's just hitting it.
8 catches last year. He has 7 here this evening. 73 yards through the air, 33 on the ground. First down at the 54. White again, the safety valve, made the catch. Might have been a lateral, and he does well to make the grab and get 3.
Right there, Mike Riley would go over and say, that's my fault. I can give it to you out in front of you so you can keep your eyes downfield. See, once he turns like this now to catch that in behind him, that was a good catch just to come up with it. Now he's got to go and regroup. It allows the Calgary defenders to close on him.
There's Coach Nick Lewis.
Still has
his sidelines.
Still has his tailgate buddies out in the back. McMahon Stadium.
Yeah, we're in Nick Lewis Nation. 2nd and 7. Short drop and gun to Burnham, who couldn't hang on, and it was almost available for a Stampeder defender.
Well, you know, Burnham, though, does it all right except for seal the catch, because when he runs this curl, he takes the extra step back towards the ball. He's going to come back and make sure that the defender can't cut underneath it. See how he comes back to it? Just textbook stuff, and just didn't secure the catch.
Castillo, not deep again. It'll be Williams, and Dozier forces him out to flag down. That's no yards against BC, and it will be 15. So good field position for Calgary coming back after a defensive play here to force the Lions off the field. A matchup between Mike Riley and Bo Levi Mitchell with more. Here again, Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, CC. There are many ways to find success, and all you have to do is look at these 2 quarterbacks. Now, both Bo Levi Mitchell and Mike Riley had scrambles in their previous games. Bo Levi Mitchell tucked the football, and as soon as he saw trouble, he slid and protected himself. Mike Riley, on the other hand, tucked the football, went for a run, saw danger, and went right for it. A massive collision ensued. Now, of course, both quarterbacks were fine, but the difference is Mike Riley truly believes he can make something out of anything, no matter what the play. Bo Levi Mitchell has the confidence that he can make up for any play on the next play. 2 brilliant quarterbacks getting it done in different ways.
A lot of contrast in their styles, but both know how to get it done. And there's Richie Sindani with his first catch of the game. And it's a Stampeder first down near midfield.
And different styles of game, different styles of leadership, different styles. There's not one right answer, because you can get it done in different ways.
6 different receivers, short drop here. And another pass on the money to Rogers for another Stampeder first down.
And Bo Levi Mitchell has that great accuracy and release time. I mean, he gets it out of his hands quickly. He sees the right thing, and his receivers are running the right routes. Boy, that decision-making process is lightning fast.
Like Mitchell heating up, that one incomplete, reaching back for it was Klukas, unable to dig that off the turf.
Yeah, Michael Klukas got in behind Gary Peters on the short side. That play was designed to just hit the flat route and get second and medium, the flat route being this one right here, but Klukas goes down the sideline and actually gets in behind Gary Peters, and then Mitchell sees him, recognizes him, tries to sidearm it, doesn't quite get it there.
The 2nd and 10, BC with a 3-man front. And the ball got away from Mitchell, got to eat it back at the 52 that likely takes them out of field goal range. They do have the wind at their back, but I think Maver will come on to try and hit the corner.
Deron Carter back in the return game for BC.
See what Maver does with this. Not deep. But on the turf, and Carter let it bounce, and that'll cost them real estate because it bounces down to the 4.
Yeah, that's the one where Carter had to make the catch.
Well, you heard Jermaine Franklin talk about the contrasting styles. We asked Bo Levi Mitchell to talk about Mike Riley's running styles.
In the beginning, I say, why Mike? You know, like when he runs the ball down the middle of the field and there's 2 linebackers standing there. You know, I think I know Mike and the competitor he is, and I mean, we're all competitors, but I think, I just think sometimes Mike wants to get hit once or twice to lock him in. You know, you can kind of see sometimes, like after he gets hit, he turns back and starts talking, you know, crap to the other guys. I think that kind of locks him in a little bit, and he likes that. And you have to do that. You know, you've got to be that guy. That's what you do. You know, but me personally, I understand that, you know, it's a long season.
A lot different in the running totals. Riley almost 600 yards rushing last year, where Mitchell was under 100 limited in his carries.
But again, not a right or wrong way. There's a 2-time champion that he'll do it on the next time he gets a chance to throw it, or hand it to his running backs to do the heavy lifting in the run game.
Lions need a first down to get out of a hole here, and Brian Burnham up across the 20, and that is a big play to move the chains. 5th catch for Burnham in the game, that for 13.
Well, they're catching the Calgary defense in a lot of zone looks, and when you're running zone looks, you have to back off for the deep receivers. You just simply have to. You can't let anyone in behind you, so you back off for the deep receivers, and that little push to the flat from Brian Burnham now opens up.
Nate Hawley in the game on defense.
One-on-one down here.
Cordero Law in a stand-up position. Hand off inside, and Law with the tackle on John White.
A little further now when you're at 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, right in that 2nd and long zone. That play action push route is difficult. Brent Watson now, is he go to straight man-to-man and try and get a little more pressure, or is he going to drop off and try and rally to that push route? Straight man.
2nd and 7, and the catch made. Oh, there's Burnham again. A payoff for Brian Burnham. Raheem Wilson with the tackle. Mike Riley called him the most polished receiver he's ever had in his arsenal.
Well, and Riley goes to this matchup. Remember, Raheem Wilson has moved from wide corner into that halfback spot. Now, he has to take the inside away from Burnham. BC knows that, Burnham knows it, and so does Riley. They run the outcut, timing is there, and no Robertson trying to steal it and leaving his man.
Burnham had 5 catches in the opener, has 5 here today. First down. On a roll and dumps it off again. There's John White, so valuable as a receiver out of the backfield here today.
Really using the entire field, the offense for BC here tonight. They're using the sideline, they're using the wide field, getting a little of that play action going, and they've established the run game early on in the first half, so that can work better. Darius Jackson with a much better game plan and the actual management of the game than the first 2 weeks.
That first down means, unless they turn it over, Calgary's done on offense with the wind at their back. Jet sweep to Carter, and Cordero Law. Carter fought the Law won.
Come get me.
High sweep.
And the fly got squashed.
Form tackle, no illegal hit there.
Marked it back at the original line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10. Should be the final play here in the 3rd quarter. Riley, sideline pass caught. And a first down, Shaq Johnson with the catch, and that's his first of the game, the 7th different receiver for Riley on the evening. And that is the final play of the 3rd quarter. The BC Lions driving. Calgary cutting into the lead. It's a 9-point BC advantage at 3/4 time. Two teams trying to get off the schneid and win their first of 2019. Stats say BC's in control, but 9 points that must not feel safe yet.
Well, some long drives. I mean, even that drive to end the half for the BC Lions, it went the length of the field, and they came away with no points. So they can't be comfortable when they look at the scoreboard, but they have to be comfortable with their offense and the way that they've improved over the first 2 weeks of the season. More balance, spread in and out, using the entire field. Mike Riley, real close to 300 yards passing. In fact, Bo Levi Mitchell would be closer and well over 200 if not for a couple of drops on deep balls for him. But this offense for BC, much improved.
Lions have the win in the 4th quarter. And they have a first down at the Calgary 48. Take to White, over the middle it goes, and Lamar Durant another catch and another Lion first down.
See, that play, because of the fake and what it does to the linebackers, that play doesn't work if White is not established in the first half. They run him, and now that it's established, this play fake holds the linebacker, doesn't let him drop underneath the receiver and get in the throwing lane, and Lamar Durant says, okay, I'll take it.
3 for 47 for the Centennial High School product out of Coquitlam. Now Burnham got a block there from Catoy and got to the first down stick once again. And with that, Mike Riley will go over 300 once again.
Get on the block! Get on the
44th time in his career that Riley has passed for over 300 yards. Bounce back game after 149 in Edmonton. It helps when you're not throwing off your back. Here's White, kicks it outside. And Wilson slowed him down. McManus in on the tackle. Six more for John White.
Almost looks like this Calgary defense, their injuries, their changes coming in and their injuries, and getting their hands on their hips now. Saw the time of possession, 27-17 after 3 quarters. That starts to wear you down a little bit, especially the big boys up front.
Lions have converted on 2nd down at 76%. 2nd and 4, underneath Burnham again. This time he'll be contained and brought down. The field goal unit will be brought on for Devon Claybrooks.
But a time-consuming, positive drive comes away with real makeable chip shot field goal. And Catoy was the first layer, Burnham the second.
8 catches for Burnham. And now Castillo up and through, and it's a 12-point BC lead. Just shy of the 3-minute mark in the 4th quarter at McMahon.
On Coors Light answering the call, we wondered if the Lions would do a better job protecting Mike Riley. Will you be the judge? Only one sack this time. A better day running. Riley completing 14 straight out of the gate. Much better performance overall. CC, Suits?
It has been impressive so far. It's a 12-point lead, but Stampeders not done yet. Trying to avoid their first 0-2 start in a decade, and Marquis Dambles with a big catch into Lion territory to try and kickstart this.
Boy, it really feels like when Mitchell gets in trouble, he is looking for ambles. He's trying to find chemistry too with a new receiving core. Guys that he's lost like Tavares, Daniels, Kamara, Jordan, not in the lineup for the Calgary Stampeders. So he's trying to find that chemistry, and it's been ambles.
28 for Ambles, a first down at the 47-yard line. And here's Don Jackson, tossed out by Malik Harris. They'll mark at the 42-yard line, so pickup of about 5.
Should know him well. Rich Stubler's getting that read and react defense going. It takes time. I mean, in the first 2 weeks, it's difficult for new guys to get it. Brandon Dozier's addition to the secondary has helped because he's got experience. You need communication, get them all together.
Puff from Mitchell, got Rodgers loose. Eric Rodgers, touchdown. His second touchdown of the game. And it is a one-score game.
Going for 2. Mitchell's trying to communicate it. Eric Rodgers is the number 2 receiver to the wide field. Lots of room there and lots of options for him running routes. He bends it inside and freezes his man. I think it's TJ Lee who gets in that trail position and is in trouble.
Didn't take long. A 3-play touchdown drive. Now trying to get it within 4. Look one way, now the other. Wants Rodgers and got it. Strong hands of Eric Rodgers add 2 points more. And it is a 4-point game, thanks to number 4. Bo Levi Mitchell with his favorite target, and it's game on here at McMahon.
Eric Rodgers been targeted 8 times, has 6 catches the last 2. First, his second major. Watch as he's going to bend this in and then take it down the seam on TJ Lee. Just freezes him with that little inside move, then he uses full speed to get down there. Now on the 2-point convert, his next catch and target. This isn't a lazy route by Eric Rodgers. This is using the mental side of the game to find the hole and just almost casually get to that open area.
We win this game.
2 touchdowns in the game, his 20th career Canadian Football League touchdown. You heard him on the sidelines. We're going to win this game. They've been in the trail position all evening, but now BC's got somebody close in their rearview mirror.
And Rich Stubler right back to that iPad, take a look and make sure that he checks out that coverage. We saw Brandon Dozier come down on that deep route to Eric Rodgers and try and rob the hole and left TJ Lee in a bit of a bind in behind him. Eric Rodgers took advantage of it. They want to eliminate that in the next series.
Lions led 22-1 since then. Calgary has outscored BC 20-3. So a critical drive for the Lions here. Starts on the ground to White. And a good run again, first down production. And very close to a first down for John White on his 11th carry of the game.
You know, every team deals with changes and deals with some losses and free agency in the NFL and things like that. This is the first time, I think, watching Calgary through the preseason and the first week of the season, that I can say that they miss Alex Singleton in a big way in this game in the middle. It just the change and the John White action from tackle to tackle or sideline to sideline has made it difficult for these linebackers.
Boy, and the injuries mount. That would be another key loss. Jamar Wall, the strong side linebacker, an 8-year vet. Remember, Brandon Smith left in the first quarter, a 12-year veteran. Ivan McLennan, Jawan Breskison have been hurt.
Brandon Smith, just the heart and soul guy. He's been gone for most of the game. That was an early injury.
Wall, a key veteran. Look like this is a bit of friendly fire here as I think Roberson got a piece of him.
Knees locked. Like he may have knee to knee with John White too. He might just walking that off. Look like he'll be okay. He has to sit out 3 plays now. John Huffnagel may have to get on the phone and take a look at replacing some injured players. We'll see. Remember, Breskison's gone on offense.
Second short yardage and a plunge ahead by Riley to get the first down.
Time-consuming stuff too.
Again, so much player movement away from Calgary at the end of the season. Only 12 starters from the Grey Cup are back. Singleton, Johnson, Jagarrett Davis, Jameer Thurman, Adam Berger, Emmanuel Davis, Ciante Evans, all gone off that top-ranked defense from a year ago. John White again. And John White churning it up here.
You get to a point where Calgary defensively, in order to have more success on first down, they're going to have to, with just about 9 minutes left in this game, and want to win it, they got to load the line of scrimmage and try and run blitz. And what that means, get the linebackers or even from the secondary, a halfback up and involved on the line of scrimmage, and go ahead and fill every gap and blitz on first down. The problem is, if Riley goes to play action on first down, now you got one-on-ones down the field with your receivers.
Another second and short. And White has another first down. He had 60 yards on 12 carries. Prior to that, he's getting close to his career average of 5.5 yards a carry. Came into the game at 2.3 yards a carry in the first 2 weeks.
And that's the 30th first down for the BC Lions. And that's why they have the big edge in time of possession, because they're getting that bubble in the run game.
Looks like Mike Riley got them motivated this week.
Wanted to be more physical. I liked how he said it too, and I mentioned the first half, but how he said, you don't want a butt kicking like we got physically on your resume. It happens. But you don't want it to ever happen again. And he had something to say to the entire team after the game. And they've responded. Now, can they hang on?
No fourth quarter points last week. You would think they probably need fourth quarter points to ensure a victory here today. First down, Riley time. What's Lamar Durant, who brought it down. Did he get a foot down? Officials are going to talk about it. No ruling yet, and now they say incomplete.
Boy, it was close.
The ruling on the field is incomplete pass.
Durant goes up.
Oh, he looked like he may have, he tapped that right foot down, I think. Did the left foot hit first, though? And the challenge flag has come out. The BC spotters think he did get that right foot down first.
Well, you know, in this such a key moment in the football game, it's a good challenge by Devon Claybrooks, who had a challenge in the first that turned into a touchdown after the McLennan roughing the passer call.
BC is challenging if there was a catch on the play. We'll review the play.
And this is an example of why the change was made, that if you get the first right, you get another.
So an important call upcoming. Back with the verdict after this.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. We have a completed pass at the 31.5-yard line. First down, BC.
And Devon Claybrooks is money on his challenges, because when we went back and looked, it looked in live action that the left foot was out of bounds first, but that right toe touches just before the left foot hits the white stripe. And it was the right call, the right challenge, and Claybrooks wins another one.
I think Lamar Durant goes to the Trevor Harris tap dance school, because that was...
you can see the feet. They're in. Watch. Right foot touches there. Left foot not on the white stripe yet. And that is an example where slow motion does happen.
Probably the only time where the official should use slow motion to get it right. Turns out to be a big first down. Riley play action. Inside it goes for Burnham down at the 21. Brought down by Raheem Wilson.
Well, that's a monster play. I mean, both of Claybrooks' challenges have one turned into 8 points to start this game. In fact, was a 14-point swing, because remember, in that first challenge, Roberson had scored on an interception touchdown. That came off the board. They put 8 on the board.
Brian Burnham's got 9 catches for 95, and the workhorse John White dragged down by Mike Rose.
Now key down here. Calgary Stampeders keep it to a field goal and a 7-point difference, 1 possession difference. Comes down to this one. 2nd and 7.
Mike Riley's completed 10 in a row. Started out of the gate with 14 consecutive completions. 2nd and 7. Flag down. And they don't get the play off. Or a little movement ahead of the snap. Couple flags.
Procedure. BC number 61. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And that changes the play call, because BC had a play called where they've been running all game long, where they push either a receiver or John White out to the flat about 4 or 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. They could have done that in 2nd and 7. Now 2nd and 13, you got to drop back and throw it, or get play action going and throw it on the run.
Here comes pressure. Open is Durant. And Lamar Durant with 2nd effort. Lamar Wall back in the game with the tackle, but I think Durant, with that extra step, got close to the first down.
Well, close enough.
Close enough.
BC go ahead and go for it. Take more time off the clock, get the first down in a new set, and this is just 2nd effort by SFU's Lamar Durant. Stepped right there. Is he out of bounds there? Take a look at that. But he extended and got right to the marker.
Okay, we got 3rd down coming up. 3rd down.
Chain link short, but that's all. For the former Stampeder in his return. And now 5 catches, 83 and a touchdown. Which is about what they expect out of Lamar Durant. They think he can become one of the premier receivers in the league. A primary guy is how both Ed Hervey and Mike Riley have described his potential.
Looking at their lineup, he really needs to become a 1,000-yard receiver for them to really take it to the next level.
Need him to complement Burnham, and hope they can get Deron Carter back to where he was a few years ago.
That spot was an interesting one, though, and no challenge from Dickinson to take another look at it.
And on 3rd and inches, the plunge with authority from Mike Riley behind J.S. Waugh, Suk Chung, and Hunter Stewart.
Just going to take another quick look at where Lamar Durant went
Timeout.
out of bounds.
Calgary.
Calgary's calling a timeout now, so he catches it here, and if his foot steps out, the ball is marked there. So that would be, if that's out of bounds, and clearly the official don't think so, because the marker's here. Just a better look as far as the perspective where that's the foot right there, and you can see where the marker was. That's almost 2 yards in front of where that foot touched. Now, Dickinson would have had to challenge to take another look at it.
He's been toe tapping up and down the sidelines on this drive.
Maybe he did take the tap dancing course in the offseason.
Well, they're taking time off the clock. A prolonged drive here. Five first downs on the drive.
Most important 10 yards of real estate for the Stampeders tonight. Moving to a field goal, they're still in this.
Drive extending over 5 minutes now. Stampeders had a huge stop at the end of the first half. Need another. Quickly into the hands of Burnham. And Brian Burnham contained. Huge play by Robertson Daniel. And it will be 2nd and goal from the 10.
So there's what they do, first down. Remember I mentioned first down because of the run game. Just go ahead and load the line of scrimmage, run blitz. 8 guys up there on the line on first down saying that's it. If you're going to give it to John White, we're going to load the line, take the gaps away. So what does BC do? They try and get it outside and hope that Burnham can make one man miss.
13 in a row for Riley. 2nd and 10, 2nd and goal. Quarterback draw. Mike Riley, touchdown.
Great call by Jarius Jackson. Under the gun in the last 2 weeks for vanilla play calling and not getting the run game going, not having the variety in the offense, but the coordinator came ready tonight, and he has made the key call with an athletic quarterback. That's design play with a blocker out front for Mike Riley. Called quarterback draw with a guy who you know will get that extra one if he gets contact at the 1 yard line.
An impressive drive to fortify the lead here. And Mike Riley caps it. First touchdown run of the year for a guy that hit pay dirt 13 times last year. And Castillo adds the convert. And it's an 11-point advantage.
The timing on the call, haven't run it all night. I'm not sure they've run it all year. Haven't seen every game, all the game film, but I don't think they've run this all year. And to pull it out of the hat right there, it just got Calgary scrambling. Huge lane, had a man out front in Waugh just leading the way for Mike Riley. Love the call from Jarius Jackson.
12 plays, 76 yards, and they take 6:50 off the clock. And the former Notre Dame quarterback liked the look of that upstairs.
After the crash, you would have gave that. Finish that shit to the whistle. Let me see something, Vic. Let me see something, Vic. Let me see who fucking stuff.
Just under 4 minutes left. Find out what Bo has left. Terry Williams again fakes the reverse. And Williams out around the 30-yard line. Well, they marched downfield in a hurry on their last drive, 4 plays. Let's see what Mitchell can come up with here.
But that takes the wind out of your sails. I mean, to make it a 2-possession game on a 6-minute drive that you've just watched, boy, that's tough. Now, if it's a 7-point game, there's a little more jump in your step, obviously.
There to go to work. Underneath it goes Don Jackson. And Jackson out beyond the 40 for a first down. So there's a start. Jackson's going to go to the sidelines, and Terry Williams checks back in.
The other thing that I think the BC Lions have improved upon tonight is their tackling in the open field. Don Jackson, 16 yards rushing.
Herdman Reed with 6 tackles. Gary Peters has 4, and Dozier almost had an interception on that pass over the head of the intended target, Rogers.
Yeah, just a bit of an overthrow. And
second and 10. Three-man rush. Pass is caught by Ambles. Peters all over him. Peters, excuse me, his 8th tackle of the game. He's been busy, and doesn't look like, Mitchell was showing some discomfort prior to that last throw, and now even more as he holds the right shoulder. Arbuckle starting to warm up. Mike Riley, a 10-yard touchdown run that has the Lions celebrating an 11-point lead at the 3-minute warning. Well, this has become the biggest story of the night. Bo Levi Mitchell has gone to the sidelines, but checking out his throwing arm, the throwing shoulder. This was the pass when he first showed some discomfort, nothing there. Then started to clutch it. One more throw and he's out. Nick Arbuckle's in. And a flag down. Complete to Jackson on this near sideline. We check the flag. But that's when we first saw him gesturing that he was not comfortable.
And it might have been a play or two before that we saw, because he went in.
Offside. BC number 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He was trying to work it out and just loosen it up again, and then he threw that sideline throw to Ambles, and that's where it was clearly evident. He came right to the sideline.
During the break, he looked like he tried to throw once, and it just wasn't comfortable at all. Dumped off again to Jackson, and Gary Peters, who's been stout on the corner, makes another tackle, and Herdman Reed jaws with Jackson after the play. So Nick Arbuckle in relief here. Going back over his college stats in 2015, number 7 in all of college football in passing yardage at Georgia State. And he's got Bengals who got a couple of extra yards after the catch to the 40. And the Stampeders not going to go quietly. They've got another first down.
Time's the enemy now, though, and boy, they got to get Bagleton more involved early and often in this offense.
Calgary.
Stamps use their timeout. 4th catch for Bagleton in the game for 32 yards. Prime target. Ambles 8 catches, 86, and Rogers 6 for 85 and a pair of touchdown grabs.
You almost think right now Arbuckle's got to take a couple shots right now. I mean, close enough to the end zone to get it to the goal line on a regular route. I'm talking not Hail Mary, just run a route and take a shot. Eric Rogers down at the bottom, right there.
Odell jumps the gun again. '98
Offside.
career sacks.
BC number 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He got one today. He matched the total of the great Will Johnson, the former Stampeder, who currently sits 12th all-time. 1st and 5. Arbuckle through the reeds. Anybody home? Down he goes. Davon Coleman has the sack. 2nd sack of the game for the Lions.
Inside move by Odell, and then a little bit of a stunt here to try and create some problems. Little inside move. They get Darius Allen coming out and around the edge, and Coleman with a push.
Now Arbuckle over the middle, and up to get that was Ambles. Looked like Eric Rogers might have been the target. 2 guys in the same line of fire, but Ambles claims it, and it's a 1st down Stampeders.
Ambles didn't wait to see. He didn't wait to see who was the intended target. He went and got it. That's what he did. Took a hit on the play, too, from Chris Edwards.
22 yards on that play. So Ambles over 100. And the hot route, Rogers just tripped up by Grimes. Otherwise, he might have scored.
Did rule it a catch, so he lost the handle, but it was after he was down. Took a couple steps, down by contact, the elbow touched, and
how about Nick Arbuckle here? Got them driving. 2nd and 1. Down inside the BC 10-yard line. Still time. Pressure coming. Dumps it off. Sindani with the 1st down, dropped around the 3.
Big tackle by TJ Lee there to hold him out of the end zone and maybe shave another 10, 15 seconds off.
Scoring and scoring quickly, important now. Don Jackson near the goal line. Is he in? The official there says no. Fred Cooper, the umpire, says it's 2nd and goal from the 1.
Well, now they will review this because it was a potential scoring play, or at least they should be as far as the command center going.
Well, they're lining up, and Arbuckle is going to plunge to the goal line and in. It's a Stampeder touchdown, a flag down.
So we'll sort out the flag, but the tackle by TJ Lee and the play made at the goal line to keep Don Jackson out.
BC number 95. That penalty is declined. The result of the play was a touchdown.
Took 12 seconds. That took 12 seconds off the clock.
So Darius Allen offside. Still some good work and relief by Nick Arbuckle here to drive the field and cap it and give them some life. They tell me no lead is safe.
Well, there's 3 big plays still needed for Calgary to get it done. This is one of them.
Looking for 2, looking for Rogers. Got it again. Boy, he is money, isn't he?
Well, he's money when there's no safety help. I mean, it's impossible to cover. He's got that great range, a catch radius for Eric Rogers, outstanding. So Aaron Grimes all by himself over the middle. That's just too much room. Dozier's up in the line of scrimmage. He's trying to take away any screen play or any play to the flat. So it leaves Aaron Grimes all by himself. And again, with Eric Rogers, put it out there in front of him, and look at that wingspan. Goes up and gets it.
13 plays, 80 yards, and Nick Arbuckle in relief of an injured Bo Levi Mitchell, 6 for 6 for 55 yards, and he sneaks in for the touchdown.
Now this is where, Chris, this is where Mark Killam comes in and he gets his special teams group together. You can see the onside kick sheet getting ready there, and he's getting that all up and set up to load up one side of the field. Now there's other options. You don't have to kick it to the loaded side. You could fake like you're kicking there and go back the other way.
to your point about the extra 10, 15 seconds they might have used, if it was outside of a minute 30, there might be consideration to kick deep.
Yeah, you're right in that bubble area, yeah. I mean, even at 1:30 at this point, probably going onside with the way Mike Riley's running the BC offense, but you know, at 1:40, 1:45, you are kicking it deep.
Oh, let's see. Ambles is up there. Jump ball. Klukas had it, lost it, but Calgary thinks they're on it. Michael Klukas had a shot at it, and the Stampeders think they're up with it, and it is Calgary football.
What an athletic play by Michael Klukas to go up there and keep that ball alive. I thought he was going to catch it in stride and just take off with it. Devon Claybrooks can't believe the play just made. Nice kick by Paredes to get enough air under to give him time to get there. I thought he had that and was going to run with it.
I think Eric Rogers may have come up with it at the bottom of the pile as Klukas out-jumps Brian Burnham. Wynton McManus is in the area. There's Rogers at the end, and I think
he did get it, yeah.
I think it's number 4. How about this?
1 first down away from tying the game, but
time to win it.
Exactly. At 1:19, no reason not to put the pedal to the metal and go and try and win it.
So they were down by 11 with 2:42 to go. They lose their starting quarterback. They're going into the wind, and now
got them right where they want them. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what John Hupnigel's saying. Now they're 48 yards away.
It's a rebound now to the 48 at the BC line.
Just reviewing with the command center where this ball should be placed, and they're going to move it back to the 52, and that is going to be the start for Calgary. By the way, their points in the opener against Ottawa were, their 2 touchdown drives were scored when starting on the opposing side of half. See if they can match that here. Start with a screen. And the little center screen is caught by Bengleton down to the 42.
With 1:13 left, Calgary can run their offense. They don't have to force it. They don't have to press it. They're in field goal range and another 10 yards anyway to go to overtime.
Second and short. Jackson bumped it outside. First down. They have not led today. Been down by a couple of scores at least for most of the day.
And the BC defense right now, Chris, in a bit of a bind. They don't want to give up one in behind them, but they can't be too soft.
First down for Arbuckle, looking downfield for Sindani. And does he have it? It's a catch at the 11-yard line for Richie Sindani.
How did he come up with that? I thought this is a gutsy throw from Nick Arbuckle to step in there and throw the dig route with Aaron Grimes all over it. Sindani goes down and gets it.
Nick Arbuckle has hit on all 8 of his passes. And now there's really no hurry. No, you don't want to leave too much time on the clock the other way. They're going to review from upstairs to make sure Sindani did catch it and did not trap it.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
It's out of 3 minutes under review by the command center. Well, I don't see I don't see evidence there that would overturn it. Call on the field is catch. And I don't see evidence there that would overturn it. I think this is going to stand. It is close. Maybe this angle gives you, no, doesn't either.
Clutch stuff from the former Campbell Tartan in Regina. Second year, had to come on and start in the Western Final for Jawan Breskison, and back in now for an injured Breskison, and may have made one of the plays of the game.
Taking a long time on this review because clear and obvious wasn't accomplished there.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
And the mandate from the command center, clear and obvious mistake made on the field. And you saw the replays. It wasn't clear and obvious. It was a catch.
What is a first down? A jump for Willis, an offside, and they'll march it 5 yards closer.
Staggered count.
Offside. BC number 11. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
After the game that this offense put on the board for BC, Mike Riley can do nothing but watch from the opposite sideline.
Funny, eh? Mike Riley's watching.
Unbelievable.
Bo Levi Mitchell's watching. And Nick Arbuckle is in position to win it. First and 5. Don Jackson. And wrapped up and taken down by Isaiah Guzlak-Messam. In there as an extra DB.
Another nice drive by Arbuckle, but this last 4 yards of it is the toughest.
First half ended on a goal line stand by the Stampeders. Lions trying to do the same for Rogers. End zone, touchdown! It's 3 for Rogers, and it's a Stampeder lead. Are you watching this?
Well, Dave Dickinson, if this score holds, can discuss fighting through adversity with his football team and how if you stick with it, stay focused, no matter what happens, there's always a chance, especially in Canadian football, to come back because they lost their starting quarterback. They needed to execute an onside kick. They were down 2 possessions inside the 3-minute warning. I mean, you talked about the odds.
Maver did well to get it down, up and good with a flag. 4-point lead, 31 seconds to go.
So Bo gets hurt. Something's wrong with the throwing arm. He can feel it on this throw.
Too many
buckles
men.
over.
BC, penalty is declined.
BC had a 2-possession lead at that point. Arbuckle takes over, doesn't have an incompletion. They needed a 2-point convert, got it. Needed an onside kick, got it. And with the backup quarterback, throws a dart over the middle to get him in scoring range. Down by 3. He gets it done in the back of the end zone to Eric Rogers. Wow.
Last time we saw Mike Riley, it appeared he'd put the game away. He hasn't been back on the field since a 10-yard touchdown run that many thought might have been it.
Important for BC to take this ball and get their positive yards, but get down and give Riley a couple of throws. Don't extend this kick return too long.
What's left? Edwards, Rutley are back.
Might have squibbed that.
And it will be Rutley. Just beyond the 30. 31-yard line.
I might have squibbed that kick along the ground. Calgary does that, it usually eats up another second or 2. Riley's got 2, maybe 3 throws if he's quick. Work the sideline. You know, Calgary defensively are going to play that umbrella look. They're going to take away the ceiling and not allow anything deep down the field, or at least be back there from a secondary point of view. That gives Riley a couple underneath throws to get him at least close enough that a Hail Mary gets him inside the 20. There's the umbrella.
Does BC have an answer? Gonna load it up. Maybe a step here. Incomplete.
Roberson.
Intended for Carter against Trey Roberson.
Had Deron Carter back there, and this is his wheelhouse. If Carter's going to become that impact player for the BC Lions, this is the play they need him to make. He's in behind coverage, which is amazing because they're playing to stop the deep ball, but Roberson makes up ground, gets the hand in there, and wins the jump ball.
Fans have been quiet for a lot of this game with the Lions in control, but bedlam now at McMahon. 2nd and 10. Pressure coming. Riley hit as he threw, and the ball is on the turf, and the Stampeders are on it. Cordero Law. What a comeback for the Calgary Stampeders.
See who got it and whether or not Mike Riley was in the throwing motion.
That Corey Greenwood knocked it out of his hand. Mike Rose is in the neighborhood.
All turnovers reviewed, of course. Boy, tough to see from that angle whether or not the ball came out before the arm went forward for Riley. He looked like he was talking a little bit about it on the sideline. Was it Greenwood that tapped it out of there just before he started that forward throwing motion?
8 tackles for Greenwood.
Oh,
And yes,
it was.
Left hand knocked it away. And now the Stampeders are probably just waiting for confirmation. Yeah. This might be a fumble, and it is.
That's a fumble.
Get the official call on the field from Tom Valesi.
Yeah, that's a fumble.
I needed that.
I'm sorry.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Corey Greenwood said, I needed that. I mentioned the Calgary linebackers. It was a tough night tonight.
Victory formation. They'll take one more knee. Well, we said there might be Canada Day fireworks. We had them. And not just from Mike Riley and Bo Levi Mitchell. The final shot's fired by Nick Arbuckle. And it's an improbable Calgary Stampeder win as they come back to take it 36-32.
Well, we got to name a player of the game, and it depended on, it went down to the last, 30 seconds to determine who was going to win it.
The Nissan Titan player of the game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Honorable mention to Mike Riley, over 300. Honorable mention to John White, who had a big game. Had the Lions won, it was probably White, but how do you not go back to the huge comeback, the Calgary Stampeders, and the performance of Eric Rogers, who had 3 touchdowns, a couple of 2-point converts, and when you think about it, the last one and most important from the backup quarterback, Nick Arbuckle. He also recovered the onside kick, which they had to have.
As for Arbuckle, 9 for 9 off the bench for 93 yards. He threw for 1 touchdown. He sneaked into the end zone for another on a wild Saturday night at McMahon. Definitely a Game of the Year candidate here tonight between these two Western combatants. Stampeders even their record at 1-1, and the Lions fall to 0-3. We will see you at Mosaic Stadium tomorrow. Argos and Rough Riders. So long, everybody.